Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee, and this is Randy, and we are here as usual at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center on Rosemont Avenue, Frederick's only shelter, bringing you some adoptable animals for you to view or share with others. Our first guest is Milo, and as you can plainly see, Milo is a beautiful rabbit. He is probably not a purebred rabbit, but he looks like an English spot, which just has to do with his size and his coat pattern. But he also looks a little bit like a Rex because he has very plush, velvety fur on his face and sides. So he's a very, very pretty rabbit. He's 4 years old, so this is as large as he's gonna get, and he is a bigger rabbit. One of the things that people often think when they see a bunny sitting on Randy's lap and being cute and cuddly like this is that rabbits are pretty passive and not very interactive, and that's completely false. Rabbits are very athletic, they're very agile, very social, and pretty smart. So he is comfortable on Randy's lap and enjoying just sitting here in a safe place where predators can't get him, and he's not doing anything. But if we were to put him down on the floor, he would hop all around. This bunny is pretty confident. He comes to the front of the cage when you come to see him. And he's gonna need, because of his size, a lot of time to come out of his cage every day and get exercise. Most rabbit cages are fine for him to sleep in at night, but much too small for him to live in because he's a big rabbit and pretty strong. So if you come to the shelter to view him, he is staying in a cage now, but you will see the setup that we have for some of our other rabbits in our puppy pens. They have cardboard boxes to jump on, they have things to chew, carpets so they don't slide around, and you can get an idea about how you might set up a habitat that he would really enjoy. So a rabbit is a little bit of a different kind of pet. They have advantages, and that is that since they sleep in a cage to keep them safe from chewing electric wires or getting under something, it makes them a little bit easier to manage. You don't have to take them for a long jog every day like you do a dog, and you don't have to manage you don't have to teach them to sit, although you can. You don't have to teach them to come when called, although you can. So I recommend, if you're thinking about a rabbit, look up agility bunnies on YouTube, and that will convince you. This is Slate, and Slate, despite his activity level that makes him seem like a puppy, is 4 years old. And Slate was dropped off by a young man who had to travel out of state to go to a family event, and he left the dog with someone that he met at a restaurant. I cannot even make up this stuff. And that person's mother said that he jumped into a porta crib, was good with their 2-year-old, is house trained, sits when you ask him to, walks on a leash, is a friendly, excited, people-liking dog. He doesn't know that one. Randy's trying to give him a paw, but he doesn't know it. But she had the dog for a significant amount of time and tried very hard to find the owner, couldn't find out who he was, and so brought the dog into us. So Slate is in need of a new home, and she did not have another dog in her house, so she can't say how he does with other dogs living with them, but he does really well here. So if that helps, and certainly if you have a dog and want to meet Slate, oh, Randy just got punched in the face by this gigantic head. So then you could bring your dog in to meet him and see what they think. So obviously one of the first things that Slate would need to learn is about not jumping on people. When he's doing that, it seems like it's friendly, and he does like people, but it's more of a rude behavior. So he does need to learn that it's not polite to jump up and put your large head in someone's face. So we have some dog trainers that come in here every week, and they will work on him with that. But other than that, he's got a great attitude and he knows some basics. He is well on the way to being a good pet. He just needs some jumping up manners, which lots of big dogs do, especially athletic dogs and young ones. So if you are interested in a beautiful dog like Slate, please let us know, or pass this picture around, or come meet him and see what you think. This is Polito, and Polito is also a pit bull. He's only 9 months old, and one of my reasons for picking Slate and Polito is because a lot of people think that pit bulls are a certain kind of dog. And what I wanted to show you by having these two dogs on is that these two dogs are genetically very, very similar, but they couldn't be more different. So it is important to remember that every purebred dog has all of the choices of all of the dogs within his genetic makeup except the physical outside. So it is not true that any type of purebred dog can be a certain way. It's just not true. Now, why do people say that pit bulls are trouble? That's because people who want a dog that is tough looking get them, and that's the certain type of person, not the certain type of dog. So in any case, Polito is so vastly different from Slate. He is deferent and careful and polite and a little insecure. So, and only 9 months old, there's lots of room. Oh, look, now he's shaking. There's lots of room for him to gain trust of people and get out in the world and see that the world is a good place. Whereas Slate already knows the world is awesome. He wants to take all of it. He wants to do everything yesterday. Polito is more worried about what's going to happen today and who's going to take care of him. So I thought it would be a great contrast for you all to see. Though they look very similar on the outside, they just couldn't be more different. And Slate is going to be the perfect dog for somebody who wants a go-getter, can do everything, wants to do everything now. And Polito is going to be the perfect dog for someone who is wants a quieter dog, wants a more intimate relationship with their dog, wants to teach a dog and care for a dog over time, so that he can become a little more confident. But he is probably never going to be an agility or frisbee dog or a traveling dog, because he's going to want to be around familiar things with familiar people, whereas Slate will go anywhere, do anything now. So if you have been thinking about getting a large dog, it's very important to think about the temperament that you want, because it's actually more important than the size of the dog. You can get a big dog that's an apartment dog that doesn't need much space, or you can get a tiny dog that needs acreage. So it's very important to look at the whole package. We are back with our next guest, Molly. And Molly is another lemon beagle. She's the same color as Starbuck, who was on the show last week, and Starbuck has been adopted. So what I would like to say about Molly is that she's about 4 years old, and she was adopted by a family who kept her exclusively outside. And for probably the first 6 months they kept her inside, but then they moved her outside to a kennel with 2 other beagles who are also here. They're a little younger, and they're awaiting adoption. And Molly is used to kids. She spent the last week with a family that was taking care of her, and she's used to pigs. She's been around barn cats. So, you know, these are all things that you might want to know about the past of a dog that you're thinking of adopting. She is very sweet, as you can see. She doesn't mind being picked up or handled in any way, but she has not been inside for the last couple of years, so she'll need a little bit of patience to get her used to living inside again. And if that includes house training, if she has forgotten her house training, then we will give you a little crash course in how to do that. She looked over here like that will not be necessary. But we always like to tell people when dogs have lived outside for a time, it's good to give them that crash course when they're reintroduced, but there's also an added benefit. Dogs develop what's called a substrate preference for where they eliminate. And that means if they live outside, they prefer to go outside. So that can really help you and be a great thing for a puppy to know. If you have been thinking about getting a dog, then please come and meet Molly and her two little friends, because beagles make good pets. They like people, they like other dogs, and certainly if you want more than one dog, then Molly can certainly be adopted with one of the beagles she's with, or the two boys can be adopted together.
The other two don't look like beagles.
Oh yeah, the other two are part dachshund, part beagle, and they are not related to each other, nor are they related to Molly, but they have all lived together for the last couple of years, and they get along very well. So if you are interested in adopting any of our animals, check out Pet Finder, come to the shelter, and certainly if you are full up and have the pets that you need, then consider sharing Molly's picture so that you can help us get the word out. Our next guest is Aaliyah, and Aaliyah is 2 years old, a beautiful Torby, which is a combination of tortoiseshell and tabby, or calico and tabby. And she came to us with her 7 kittens. And those 7 kittens have been adopted from the shelter, and of course, Aaliyah now needs a home. One of the great things about our foster program is that we're allowed to help animals like this. There's no way that we could raise 7 kittens or have a nursing mom in the shelter without risking the kittens catching a cold and the mom feeling a little stressed out by trying to raise her kittens in a box. So we have a wonderful program of foster care, which I'm sure you guys all know about, but it allows us to have these cats grow up in a normal house with litter pans and kids running around, and they get all of the experiences they need to make you a great pet. But it also allows us to have the moms have a safe place to raise their babies and get healthy, and then they can also be adopted. We also know a lot about them. It would be a little different if we had a stray female cat that we had to say, you know, we found her and here's what we know about her. She uses a litter box and eats cat food. But because she's been in a foster home, the foster home can fill out the profile about if she's afraid of anything, if she was a good mom, which she was a great mom, kept her 7 babies fat and clean, and got them ready to be adopted, and now she needs a family of her own to take care of her. And one of the reasons that we only had 4 dogs today is that it's one of those rare occasions when we only have 5 dogs available for adoption. So it will change next week because we get, as you know, 15 new animals a day. But right now, all of the animals in the shelter have been, all the dogs in the shelter have been adopted except for 5. If we could adopt them all out this week, that means we would have no dogs. Nah, that won't happen, because every day we get 15 new animals and then we make room for them. A lot of times people ask us why we don't import dogs from shelters that are overcrowded. And there are several good reasons for that. Number one, you, the taxpayers of Frederick, are paying for this shelter. So we use our resources for animals in Frederick. If we have some space on the dog floor, that means we can put some more resources towards cats like Aaliyah and save more animals that are born in Frederick and need help in Frederick. But another reason that we don't do it is what's called herd health. If we bring in animals from other areas, they have parasites and viruses that are not already endemic in Frederick. So by bringing in animals from outside, we put not only the population of the shelter at risk, but the population at large. So it's something that we don't do at this time.
Gorgeous.
So we're going to be, Randy's talking about how pretty she is. She is a very pretty cat and very lovely in temperament. She is our last guest of this segment, so we're going to be back after a short break. I hope you will join us. We're going to have plenty more cats, maybe none of them quite as pretty as Aaliyah.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Oh, it's okay, honey.
It's all right. I'm gonna rub you.
We are back with General, and General is a beautiful black and white female kitty who is 1 or 2 years old, and she came to us as a stray. And as you know, we color code our cats green, orange, and blue. We color coded her green because she's a stray and because this is all new to her. We don't know where she came from, but since she's not spayed, we suspect that she didn't have her own family, but obviously she's used to people and people have helped her out before because she will approach people and expect people to be nice to her and offer her food, which we have done. But she is going to need a permanent home, a place of her own, and she is ready for that now. If you think that she would make a good match for you, then please let us know. If you think that you know someone who might want her, then go to petfinder.com and find General's picture and share it. You can also share it by printing the Pet Finder profile and posting that wherever you're allowed to post it. We are back with Tchaikovsky, and he is an orange tabby, 2 years old. And he also came to us as a stray. Obviously, he knows of people, and he is happy to be with them. We will neuter, microchip, vaccinate, and prepare him for adoption. He will need a rabies shot from your vet, and we will give you a coupon to get that done at a reduced cost, or in some cases of veterinarians in Frederick, they will allow the coupon to pay for the rabies shot in full because they do support adopting homeless animals from the shelter. So Tchaikovsky obviously isn't his name that he had before coming here, but we had a batch of composers that you guys met, Claude Debussy and some other ones. When animals come to us, we have to think of something to call them other than their admission number, just while they're here, because humans have that need. Humans need to label everyone with a name that reflects their personality or so that we can converse with them. But cats do not care what sound we make. That means they can get attention, affection, or food, and they can learn very quickly what signifies that. So if you change his name, Tchaikovsky will easily adjust to that. But if you are a music teacher or a violinist, or you just like the Nutcracker Suite, then maybe his name will help you choose him as a cat for your future. He is quite beautiful and he is young, and we have health screened him and gotten him ready for you. So if you think that he would make a good match for you or someone that you know, then let us know. Share his picture. He's quite beautiful with big green eyes, and he's going to make someone pretty happy. We just have to find that right someone. We are back with Slippers, and Slippers is a 5-year-old gray tabby female, And a nice thing that I can show you with this cat is that when you lose a cat, I should say if you lose a cat, hopefully it won't be a when. So if you ever lose your cat, one of the problems that we have helping people find their cats is descriptions of cat colors is complicated. So sometimes people will have a cat like this and tell us that they're gray, black, and white. So that's so generic that we need to know where on the body is the gray, where on the body is the black, where on the body is the white. So what people would consider her gray, black, and white is because her coat color is gray, obviously feet and belly white, but she has black stripes on her tail. So if you don't have a picture of your cat, any cat that has tiger stripes is called a tabby. Tabby is not a breed of cat, and it's not a color of cat. It just means that they're striped. So she is a gray tabby with white feet, and that would really help us to narrow down the number of cats we would call you about if your cat is missing. The cat that you met a moment ago, Tchaikovsky, was an orange tabby. Pretty easy. Tiger stripes and orange. So one of the cats that gets difficult for people to describe is the one that we saw at the end of the last segment, which was Aaliyah, because she has tiger stripes, but she also has patches, and that's why we call them Torby, because they're a mixture of tabby. So you don't need to know all that. I'm just saying that if you lose a cat, to have us help you over the phone, either with pictures or descriptions, to get a good description of your cat. It helps you get reunited with your cat more easily, because cat colors are complicated because there are so many. For us to be talking about the same thing, if we can't see a picture of your cat or can't see your cat, really helps us help you find your cat. So back to Slippers. Slippers is a gray tabby, slippery. 5 years old. And then Randy said, and slippery. She is determined to get down and walk about and see what's going on in here. If you think that Slippers would make a good pet for you, you should know that she was adopted from the Wicomico Animal Shelter when she was a kitten by some people who have kept her for the last 5 years. Had no problems with her whatsoever, but they're going to be taking in a family member that needs a place to stay who's highly allergic to cats. So in order for Slippers' family to help out a human family member, they had to choose to have us look for a new home for their feline family member. Maybe it'll be you. We are back with Tiger, and you guys have met Tiger before. She's been with us for a long time. And what most of you know is that animals don't run out of time. Once they're on the adoption floor, we don't have, as many shelters do, hold them for a certain number of days and then move them out for the next batch. We offer animals based on their suitability as a pet. If they're friendly and have experience with people and they're on our adoption floor, they may be here for months before we find the right person. And that's what's happening with Tiger. So we got Tiger as a relinquished cat, already spayed and already used to people and overweight. So we put her on a diet here, and she lost about 5 pounds, and she was looking really good. She still was chubby, but she was really fit. We took her on the radio show. We put her on the website. We've taken her to events off-site. She is just a great cat. But she was adopted by a family who took her home and got all 4 pounds back. So she is back in the shelter. She hasn't had any health problems due to being a big kitty, but she's back on her diet. We are determined to get her weight off and keep it off this time, because cats as big as Tiger is getting can be at risk for diabetes. So we have to get her fit and trim, get her ready for a new family, and we can tell you all about her, all about the people who adopted her for a short time have written a profile about her as well. She is just a great cat, fits in very well here, is very good when we take her places, but you know, there's got to be something better for her out there, a real family that will give her room to walk around. She needs more exercise to keep trim. But apparently when she is in a household, she asks for more food, and it's hard for people to tell her no. She doesn't do that here, so obviously this is a good setting for her to get her back into her fighting weight. She just shouldn't be this big. So we're going to help her with that. And if you would like to be the family that gives her another chance, then come in and talk to us about her. We'll talk to you about helping cats lose weight. And it's much, much easier to help your cat or dog lose weight than it is to lose weight yourself. And the reason I say that is because the cats can't open the fridge, they can't go to the grocery store, they usually don't have their own bank account. So it is very easy to control what they eat and get her back into the weight that she needs to be. I don't know if she's happy about what I'm talking about or just happy because she's on Randy's lap. She will feel better when she's fit and trim. I think she knows that. We gave her that briefly, but she is just right back up to the size she was when she originally came here. So we're going to help her out with that, and you can too if you think Tiger's a good match for you. We are back with Shelby, and Shelby and her very similar looking sister are available for adoption because their family moved away. And a lot of times people think that shelter pets are in the shelter because there's something wrong with them. But I can tell you that that is simply not the case. The animals that we have here at the shelter that were given up by families are usually given up through no fault of their own. The family has come on financial hard times. They have to move in with other family members where their pets aren't welcome, or they simply can't afford to care for the pet anymore, or they're going to downsize into apartments that don't allow pets. So if you are interested in adopting a secondhand pet, we will tell you everything we know about them. If there are any training problems or behavior problems, we share that with you. And in Shelby and her sister's case, there just simply are none. They're delightful, lovely little cats we would like to see adopted together. They've been together for their whole life. And she is only 1.5 years old, and her sister, same age. So they are very young, not quite kittens, but certainly able to adapt to whatever life presents them. And if you are interested in adopting two, then this is a great opportunity for you, because adopting two cats that don't know each other has a risk. They may, certainly you can integrate them together and get them to get along, but they may never be best of friends. And we already know that Shelby and her sister are bonded and enjoy each other, choose to be next to each other in the cage. So we would like to see them adopted together. So if you have seen any animals today that either spark your interest in adoption, please let us know. If you are not interested in adopting right now, but just watching to support our animals, then please, as you usually do, share their pictures on social networking and Pet Finder and at your offices and things like that. But if you are just interested in learning about the shelter and the animals that we have to offer, think about volunteering at the shelter. We have a great core of volunteers, and they come in on weekends and evenings during the day. You all see Randy here every week, but he's also in the shelter multiple times on our Facebook page and doing things for the shelter that we just couldn't get done with the staff that we have when we have all of these animals to care for. So thanks for joining us on Pet Finder. You can share this episode of Pet Finder by using the link at the bottom of your screen if you choose to. And anytime that you can reach out to a person who is not familiar with the animal shelter, that helps us help more animals. And thank you for your support over the years at the shelter and in the community. We will see you next time on Pet Pals.